Hey everyone, my name is Kierra Harris, and I did my case study on myself. The title of my presentation is called Black Creativity Survival Mode, and the basis of this presentation just kind of stems from how being a Black person in itself is creativity in all. And I'll go into more detail throughout the presentation. But just to start, this is me and my mother. Um, we she played a very big role in my life, and so I just kind of wanted to put her there with me. So the inspiration of me doing my case study on myself, it came from this book called The Hate You Give, and it's basically about a young woman named Star. She's the main character of the story, and she basically kind of lives two separate lives. um, but she kind of comes from a predominantly black neighborhood. But she goes to school in an all white private school. And throughout the story, she does go through a heartbreak of one of her best friends dying because of police brutality. And but the theme that I'm kind of going for is how Star kind of transforms and kind of goes through her identity and understanding like how she should be as a black person when she's around certain people, how she grew up. So throughout my presentation, you will see quotes from the book that kind of um, matches my identity and how I have to be creative in making sure that I survive in this all white society. So the very first quote says, "I never know which star I should be. I can use some slang, but not too much slang, some attitude, but not too much attitude, so I'm not a sassy black girl. I have to watch what I say and how I say it, but I can't sound white." And that quote right there already just kind of it really touched me because that is exactly how I feel, how I felt when when I am in certain areas. I have to. I don't know when I should be this person or when I should be this person sometimes, and I don't want to come off as being the quote unquote angry black girl. So this is where this all came from. So let's kind of start from the beginning. My childhood experiences. I am from Gary, Indiana. Many of you know that as Michael Jackson's birth home, which, fun fact, my grandparents live right down the street from them. So that's pretty cool. Gary, Indiana is a very rundown city. There's nothing really much there. My mom really wanted me to, at the time, it was just me and my mom, and she really wanted me to get out of there. And um, later on, she met my stepdad, and that really, and he was in the military, and that was our kind of get our gateway into moving out of Indiana. Later, we moved to Ohio, and then we moved to Sweet Home, Alabama, and this is kind of where the foundation of finding myself and understanding my own identity as a black girl began when I went to Alabama. So the quote I have on this page is, "I can't change where I come from or what I've been through. So why should I be ashamed of what makes me me?" And throughout this presentation, you'll kind of see how I kind of have to figure myself out in different environments, different processes, and different situations that I kind of go through. So here's my family, and I put these pictures on here because, well, this is my mom and this is my little brother, and if you kind of come over here, this is a total transformation. This is all three of us once again, obviously much older. Um, my mom, like I said, plays a big role into my life because she is the one who was kind of really headstrong about me and my brother going to great schools and getting a good education. She also was one out of three sisters who, these are her sisters down here, who got out of Gary, Indiana, started a better life for her family. And she graduated from high school and college. She was the first one in our immediate family to do so, and so it was kind of a big deal. And this is kind of where it all starts, where it's like where my family kind of just starts treating us like we're too good for them, or um, we've quote unquote forgotten where we came from just because we have started a better life. And that's not really fair, but that also played a big role in my identity and how I should look at myself. Like, am I a, for lack of a better word, sell out? Did I really leave my family? But at the time, I was much younger, so I didn't get it at the time. But as I got older, it really started to hit. And then there's elementary school. So elementary school is kind of where, um, my identity starts to form. I started to realize that I am a little black girl. So at the top picture is when a group of my friends as well as my second grade teacher. I came from a predominantly black school, and then it was really neat. I loved school. And then we moved to Alabama, and this is where I started to realize, okay, these people don't look like me, but they're still my friends. I didn't really understand everything about the differences in color, but I did know. I feel like I did know, like, okay, we don't look the same, but we can still be friends. Like, I'm still in elementary school, so I'm not really understanding. I can remember a time where all of my friends, when I moved to Alabama, all of my friends were white, and we went to. One time I got caught in the bathroom. I was putting water on my hair because while my white friends were doing it, they were trying to lay their hair down, and their hair was always so long and so pretty. And one time I did that to my hair, and my mom was so upset. And that's when I realized, I am a black girl. I can't put water on my hair. There's we obviously have two different textures of hair. We we're different when it comes to that. And that's why I was so confused. I didn't understand why she was mad, but that just kind of opened up my eyes, like, okay, we are very different. And just because they have long pretty hair doesn't mean I don't have pretty hair as well, just because it's not as long. But as you can see, the top picture, it's all, we're all black children. And then when you get here, it's clearly I am the only black girl. And this is just a picture of my soccer team, but this is also what my classroom looked like as well. And then we get to middle school. So middle school is where I kind of figure, okay, so I have black friends and I have white friends. And I literally figured out that I had two sets of friends. So a funny thing, after elementary school, my mom said, you know what, we need to go to a magnet school. So my magnet school was actually predominantly black. And this is one picture, and then here's another picture of my friends in my school. And then we moved to Georgia. My mom got a new job, and then we moved, and went to another middle school. It was a great school in a great area, but it was predominantly white. And this is where I realized, the classes that I was in were for, I guess, like the gifted students. And it was predominantly white classrooms. And notice in this picture, it was just me and my other friend Mariah. We were the only two black girls in our classes. And then there was one other black boy. So it was three black students and this team full of, predominantly white students. And it was just so interesting because it was like I realized, okay, they don't look like me, but we're all smart and we're all in the same area. Then I have my other friends. If you look down here, we were not on the same team. And then I realized, why are so many of the black students in the lower levels of of school? And I couldn't understand that. And and it got so bad that I asked my mom, I said, why can't I be with the other black kids? And it really took a toll on my mom because she just couldn't understand why I didn't want to be, I guess with the smarter kids. And that's really kind of how I was told it was. I mean, that's obviously not the best terms to use, but that's just kind of how it was presented to me. Um, and then this is also the time where I felt like it was like I was treated as if I was a representative of the black race. Like everything that happened in the black community, that's when they would ask me about it. So for example, this was around the time when Obama was becoming president, and everybody was asking me, well, did your parents vote for Obama? Like or it's almost like they were asking, did the black community vote for Obama? And it was just so interesting. And this is also the time where I changed my name. My name is Kierra, but when you read it on paper, some people say it as Kierra or Kiara. And that just really bothered me because I came from these black schools who all said my name correctly. And now I come here and y'all are not saying it correctly. So I said, forget it. My name is Kiki. Now, mind you, my family and my closest friends, they did call me Kiki, but it was because of this that I literally changed my name just so it can fit in a society who can't say my name. And, it's very interesting that I had to get to that level. And that's just really much what these quotes are talking about over here, how they act like I'm the official representative of the black race and they owe me an explanation, or Devontae's got a point. What makes his name or our names any less normal than yours? So then we have high school. High school, there was a big deal in high school. Once again, I had two sets of friends. All of these at the top were my classmates and my teammates in volleyball. And as you can see, it's all predominantly white. And then you get here. These were my friends at school as well, but we didn't have classes together. We didn't have anything in common except for, well, some of them were on my track team, and then these were my closest friends, and it was just so crazy to me. This was also the time where I realized that I had to talk differently. Like if I were around my white friends, there were just certain terms that I would use around my black friends that I couldn't use around my white friends. Like there were certain slang words I just really had to get creative in getting them to understand me and for me to understand them. And then not only that, this is also the time where this is a great quote right here. It says, I hope none of them asked me about my spring break. They went to, I hope I'm saying this right, Taipei, the Bahamas, Harry Potter world. I stayed in the hood and saw a cop kill my friend. Obviously, I didn't get that extreme, but that was the truth. Like they were all talking about how they went to, to another island, or they rode their parents' boat or went to their parents' cabin, and I didn't do stuff like that. I mean, my family had money, but it wasn't to that extent. And then this is also the time where the first time I got called the N-word, and it was so interesting to me because I had never been called that. I didn't know how to react. I really didn't know what to say. I knew that it was very inappropriate. I knew that I shouldn't be getting called that. But in the context of how it was used was, it's in a song. And it was just like, that's where I put this quote. We let people say stuff and they say it so much that it becomes okay to them and normal for us. I didn't want it to be normal for me. So that kind of leads me into undergrad. This is where I kind of taught myself to speak two different voices, only say certain things. And I just had to master, I am a black girl, but I would only tolerate certain things. You can say whatever you do in your own spare time, but in front of my face, I would just appreciate it if you just kind of respected my wishes. And then at work, once again, I just had to learn to be that rose that grew in the concrete. Like, once again, I am on a team full of, white teammates, and it's hard. It's hard because I'm in a professional environment where nobody